Hey, hope you're well. Something a little different this week. I had planned to be doing the entry-level plunger saw roundup for 2024 this week. For reasons not unrelated to this, I haven't managed to do that yet. Fingers crossed I'll have that out for next week. So I just thought I'd do a little vlog-style video, a couple of questions that I've had that need answering. And I also want to get the sacrificial strip fitted to the Benchdogs MFT top. I've fitted a sacrificial strip to all my MFT tops forever. I think I did a video about it almost 5 years ago. And it's probably worth doing a recap and just doing it a little bit differently. One of the questions I've had, I have had people chase me up on Instagram about the fact that I haven't answered their questions on YouTube. What it is, if you ask me a question on YouTube, unless it's current and you just want an opinion on something, then I'm probably going to have to go back and, especially if it's on an older video, I'll have to go back and re-watch that video so I can give a proper and appropriate reply. I did get getting a lot of questions on the guide rail video still, and it's probably, if you haven't seen that, watch that before you watch next week's entry-level plunge saw roundup, because they're kind of related. But a lot of questions coming in on the guide rail video. Still had one about the Benchdogs Ultra Mark III rail square and whether it fits the Evolution guide rails. And it would have been easy to say, well, yeah, the Evolution guide rails are a really close copy of the Festool guide rail, so it should be fine. But in fact, when you check it out, this is on the Benchdogs rail square on the Festool rail. It slides on there really nicely and it all locates. And you can see on the back here where the square is bearing against the rail. And actually, when you put it on the Evolution rail, and these are the new Evolution G2 rails, you put it on that, it's a much more snug fit because the profile is slightly different, and it will fit and it will square itself up. But this side of the rail bears against the grippy strip, so it's fitting and it's working and it's square, but it's not completely flat. Shouldn't be a problem in use, but just something you might need to be aware of. So sacrificial strip is just a thin strip of material. I usually just use a piece of 6mm MDF, about 50mm, 2 inches wide, and it just sits under the cut line. This is got my rail square fitted to the Benchdogs bench and all squared up, and I know where my cut line is going to be. The mistake I see a lot of people make when they do a sacrificial strip, and the sacrificial strip is just literally there to be cut into, so you can replace that rather than replacing the whole top. A mistake I see a lot of people make is to put a thin or a narrow strip evenly over where the cut line is. What's much more useful is to have something like a 50mm wide strip so that about 3/4 of it is under the rail. That way, when you do a bevel cut and you plunge, the cut line doesn't come off the edge of the sacrificial strip. Don't ask me how I learned that. So sacrificial strip, you want with a 50mm wide strip, you want about 12mm to one side. So we'll put an extra little bit of 12mm pencil mark there and there. And with that in place, I can drop this half of that rail completely out of the way and take this half out completely, because that's how I designed that rail hinge to be used. I do need to cut the strip and a little bit of material just to bear the router against, so I'll do that now at a little table saw. So I've got the bow extender fence set up on the little Festool saw. This was sent to me by Mike Teller at Teller Toolworks, not to do a review of it. We chatted and I was telling him that I was planning on making something like this. when I do the custom cabinet for this with a bit of outfeed and extension and things. And he sent one over for me to take a look. It's solid steel, so it is kind of heavy duty. It's kind of pricey. I think it's around $300 in the US from Mike Taylor. You can get them here in the UK from Axminster Tools, I think. I need to check prices. I'll put a link in the description if I can find them. I know Mark at Start Making Woodworking is doing something very similar. Was thinking along similar lines, and maybe we'll have a chat when I come to do my my table saw makeover. But for now, I just need to rip a 15mm strip from this. Okay, so strips cut. I'm going to use what's left of that half of the sheet for one side. I'm just going to keep this one in place with some double-sided tape because I want the top face to be clear of clamps and interference. So just lining this up against our pencil marks from before. And then we can just use the strip itself as a gauge. So I'm using a router with a flush trimming bit. I can bear that directly against the top of the bench and then set the depth of the actual strip. Because it's only 6mm deep, I can make the cut in a single pass, but I'll need several across the width of the strip in order to get it complete. And that, apart from a little bit of cleaning up, should be that. Just snaps in there very nicely. So that's your sacrificial strip done in your MFT top, quick and easy to do, and it will massively extend the life of your MFT because you only need to replace the strip once it gets cut into. Definitely worth doing a slightly wider strip, and definitely worth having 3/4 of it underneath the guardrail so that when you cut on a bevel, your blade doesn't fall off the edge of the strip. Just very quickly before we go, gift list 2024 is doing very well. Thank you very much, everybody who's taken a look. I've had a lot of people ask me for a print-friendly copy of the list, so I've done that. Easy to click links, clear descriptions, and scannable QR codes. If you wanted to have one of those to print out and leave it lying around in the hope that somebody might find it, that's going out. A copy of that is going out with the newsletter this weekend. Sign up for free at 10minuteworkshop.email or 10mw.email, and fingers crossed your Christmas gifts may well be delivered. But I'll call this one done for this week. Thanks ever so much for taking a look. Fingers crossed I'll be with you next week, wrist willing, with the entry-level plunge saw roundup for late 2024. And I'll see you then. All right, take care.